The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we need to rethink it and criminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
Good day, tokers and tokettes, and welcome. We made it to the weekend. It's Friday, October 4th, 2013, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world, and you have joined us today on a very special, ultra, mega special edition of the Russ Belville Show, because today I get to do two firsts. Number one, I get to interview my first live federal prisoner. And number two, I get to interview my first Billboard chart-topping musician. And here's the catch. It's the same guy. That's right. We're going to be interviewing Karey Lee, who's got an album up on the Billboard Charts, number 4 on the new and upcoming artist chart, selling as well on Amazon, CD Baby, and iTunes. He's a federal prisoner at the prison in Yazoo City, Mississippi, which may sound familiar because that's where Mark Scott Emery has been held in federal prison. But Karey Lee's got this hit album that he wrote before he was sentenced to prison. It just made the charts, and it's been pretty exciting. He's been covered in Forbes magazine, among others. We're going to talk to him live today at 5:30 from his prison in Yazoo City. So, like I said, a couple of firsts on today's show. Check out Karey Lee, KareyLee.com to learn more about his story and to help him out if you want to, and get some links there to his fantastic music. We'll be playing his newest music video as well after we do the interview. Also on today's show, we got Herb Thrasher calling in for Rockin' Friday, who's going to bring us a new video from another good friend of ours, Justin James Bridges. He was the Occupy Portland protester who was put in a wheelchair through police brutality, and he's fought back now, and he's got a great series of albums and songs coming out. We're going to give him all the promotion we can. Also on today's show, we'll have time for a radical rant. You know, I was at the Better People Forum yesterday, along with 3 other panelists, one of whom was Sergeant Chris Kanegi from the Portland Police Bureau's Drug and Vice Department. He's the supervisor there, and he's still firmly, strongly, 100% committed to believing in the gateway drug theory. So we're going to take some time to rant today and give Sergeant Chris Kanegi a little look at the science behind the study of the gateway drug theory. Also, we're going to go behind the headlines and give you an update from our good friend Paul Armentano at Normal, the latest poll numbers in at least 10 states on their stand on marijuana legalization, medicalization, and decriminalization. And before we get to all of that, we've got our 420 radio news. Also, stay tuned for hour 2. We got a stupid stoner story and more in-depth stories in the second hour. We'll be right back. Stick around.
The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at RadicalRuss.com.
Hey, tokers and tokettes, Radical Russ here to introduce you to my friend Matt and all the staff at Lush LED Lighting. Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. If you thought LEDs were meet the tech of today, Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Let's just say I appear at a lot of events with the masters of indoor horticulture, and the harvests I saw from Lush LED lighting were big, tight, sticky, and very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you. Double your rewards and lower your expenses with Lush LED lighting. I'm Radical Russ Belville, and I want to thank you for listening to 420 Radio. We couldn't survive without you and our sponsors, and I'd like you to check out one of our prime sponsors, the National Cannabis Coalition. I've been working with NCC since June of 2012, and I'm proud to be part of the team they have assembled. National Cannabis Coalition is building the partnerships with reformers, lawmakers, and industry we need to be successful. Visit the National Cannabis Coalition website at nationalcannabiscoalition.com or the easier-to-remember ncc420.com. That's where you'll get the exclusive first look at my radical rants, as well as informative articles from the nation's top cannabis pundits. Visit ncc420.com today, and if you have your phone handy, text Russ to 420-420 to support NCC and 420 Radio. It's a free text message that helps us help you end adult marijuana prohibition. Learn more at ncc420.com, and thanks for supporting independent marijuana legalization public radio. This is your 420 Radio News for Friday, October 4th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Government shutdown hits drug czar's office from RadicalRuss.com. According to the New York Times, the shutdown for the federal government has seriously impacted the Office of National Drug Control Policy, otherwise known as the Drug Czar's office. Normally, the office is staffed with 88 full-time employees, but thanks to furloughs of non-essential personnel, just 8 full-time employees are on the job. 85% of the Justice Department will be working, with the Drug Enforcement Administration still on the job, according to the DOJ. Considered non-essential? Justice's pardon attorneys, some of whom may be considering appeals to release marijuana prisoners like John Knock, Paul Free, Larry Duke, William Deacle, and Charles Fred Cundiff, all senior citizens sentenced to life without parole who have all done at least 15 years' time in prison. While the government still considers DEA agents raiding gardens and busting potheads essential, other government functions considered not as important include pesticide regulators at the Environmental Protection Agency, food inspectors at Health and Human Services, and auto recall inspectors at the Department of Transportation. After all, in our government's estimation, we have so much more to fear from cannabis than pesticides, tainted food, and poorly made cars. Switzerland decriminalizes marijuana, won't prosecute for small amounts. From Huffington Post. As of October 1st, possession of marijuana is decriminalized in Switzerland. Anyone over the age of 18 caught with 10 grams or less of the drug will no longer have to make a court appearance and will not have offenses entered into their permanent record. Instead, violators will have to pay a fine of 100 Swiss francs, approximately $110, then be on their way. The measure is expected to save money by cutting back on the 30,000 marijuana-related cases courts have had to handle each year. Penalties are now stricter for anyone caught selling to a person under the age of 18. The new law also provides greater resources to help children with marijuana habits. A 2013 UNICEF report found Swiss children are the world's second most likely to smoke marijuana, with just over 24% of 11, 13, and 15-year-olds having smoked pot in the last year. Erpenbach and Taylor's bill would legalize medical marijuana in Wisconsin, from Madison.com. Senator Joe Erpenbach, Democrat of Middleton, and Representative Chris Taylor, Democrat of Madison, are co-sponsors of a bill known as the Jackie Rickert Bill, which would legalize medical marijuana. With a Republican-controlled legislature, there is serious question whether the bill will gain any support. Erpenbach said opponents cite concerns that legalizing marijuana will be a slippery slope for patients and others to use the drug for recreational purposes. Under the measure, medicinal marijuana could be prescribed to patients with cancer, glaucoma, HIV/AIDS, post-traumatic stress disorder, seizures, severe pain and nausea, and muscle spasms. Taylor said the bill would allow patients to grow up to 10 marijuana plants and have up to 3 ounces in their possession. Patients who choose not to grow their own would be able to purchase medicinal marijuana with a doctor's recommendation at state-regulated nonprofit compassion care centers. $10 million lawsuit filed in prisoner wrongful death case from hightimes.com. The mother of a young man who died in a Linwood, Washington jail after turning himself in on a minor pot charge last year has given county authorities notice she intends to file a $10 million wrongful death lawsuit against them. The lawsuit announcement comes 15 months after 22-year-old Michael Safati died in custody and 9 months after prosecutors decided not to file formal charges against anyone at the jail connected to the incident. Safiati had an extreme allergy to dairy products in addition to other health concerns. He used marijuana medicinally to feel better, according to his mother Rose, but he had yet to register with Washington State as a medical cannabis patient. On July 2nd, 2012, Safiati turned himself into Linwood police for a misdemeanor warrant for marijuana possession. He was dead less than 1 day later. The Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office concluded that Safiati died from bronchial asthma stemming from a severe allergic reaction to milk products. Majority of Maryland voters support pot legalization from hightimes.com. A new public opinion poll released today by the Marijuana Policy Project and the American Civil Liberties Union reports that 53% of Maryland voters support the legalization of recreational marijuana. These results were released just after Maryland's new ban on synthetic marijuana went into effect on the 1st of the month. The new poll also revealed that an even greater majority of Marylanders, 68%, back recreational pot decriminalization in which possession of less than an ounce would be a misdemeanor. This has been your 420 Radio News for Friday, October 4th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines and take a look at the other states across the country for which we have polling data on marijuana legalization, medicalization, and decriminalization, courtesy of our friend Paul Armentano at Normal. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the only way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak to my attorney, Omar Figueroa." Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at www.omarfigueroa.com.
I'm a reefer smoking man.
Wood Pipe Smoke Shop and Speakeasy is your source for cannabis community gear in southern Wisconsin. Owners Brian and Tammy Wood are located in Kendall, just outside of Madison, and they've got everything for the smoking enthusiast, including a full assortment of pipes, water pipes, hookahs, bubblers, one-hitters, and so much more. They're open noon to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and can help you with your detoxification therapies as well. Call 608-466-7473 or email woodpipes@yahoo.com for more information. That's 608-466-7473 or email woodpipes@yahoo.com. And as always, go pack go. 420radio.org presents Stony Sundays with Coral Reefer from San Francisco, California. YouTube user CoralFish19 has turned into one of the internet's most popular marijuana personalities. You can catch the replay of her Stony Sunday episode every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific, with replays at 8 a.m. Tuesdays, 1 a.m. Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Saturdays, and 4 a.m. Sundays, right here on 420radio.org. All right, time for us to go behind the headlines. And in the news today, we brought you the story of Maryland and its new public policy polling that's come out to show a majority supporting legalization in Maryland. Parlamentano of Normal put together a nice summary of some of the other states that have marijuana poll information. You can find it at hightimes.com. It's entitled Red State, Blue State, Try Green. And he's basically making the point, it doesn't matter whether it's a red state or a blue state, people all over the country are supporting marijuana law reform, with 56% of Arizonans saying they favor, quote, legalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana for personal use. This is a Rocky Mountain poll they did in May. In California, 60% of likely California voters say, quote, marijuana should be made legal, end quote. That was a poll in September by Public Policy Institute of California. Even numbers in Florida are surprising, with 70% of Floridians supporting the passage of an amendment to the state constitution to allow for the physician-recommended use of cannabis. That would be the Kathy Jordan Medical Marijuana Act. This was conducted in January of 2013 by Hamilton Campaigns and People United for Medical Marijuana, which is now called United for Care. In Kentucky, where you might not think there's a lot of support for marijuana, 78% of state residents back plans to allow doctors to authorize cannabis. This was a 2013 Kentucky Health Issues poll. In the state of Louisiana, we've got 53% of the people asked endorsed regulating and taxing cannabis for those aged 21 and older, and 65% in Louisiana also expressed support for legalizing the use of cannabis for therapeutic purposes. 56% supported marijuana decriminalization. And again, that poll in Maryland, eliminating jail time for marijuana offenses, we already told you of the 53% support for legalization, but also 68% support decriminalization of marijuana for personal use. And that number is up from 57% just 2 years ago. They've gained 11 points in just 2 years for the decriminalization of marijuana in the state of Maryland. In the state of Michigan, we've got survey data that was released last month by Epic MRA polling, and in that survey, 47% of the respondents said they backed legalizing marijuana by, quote, taxing it and regulating it like alcohol, end quote. Add to that another 16% of respondents who endorsed replacing criminal penalties for marijuana offenses with a fine only, and another 4% in Michigan who said outright repeal all state criminal penalties for cannabis offenses. Add those all up and you get 67%, 2 out of 3 people in the state of Michigan supporting at least decriminalization, if not legalization or outright repeal of all cannabis penalties. Public policy polling in January released survey data in New Hampshire showing that 62% of voters endorse eliminating criminal penalties for minor cannabis possession offenses, decriminalization in other words, and 53% of the Granite State wants to see the plant legalized outright. Finally, we take you to the state of Oklahoma. Now, you know, in Oklahoma, you can get life in prison for your keef box. You can get life in prison for keef. You can get life in prison for hash. And the second-time offender penalties for mere possession of marijuana can get you decades in prison. Even in Oklahoma, 71% of respondents say they support amending state law to allow for physician-authorized patients to consume cannabis for therapeutic purposes. 71% support for medical marijuana in the state of Oklahoma. 57% in Oklahoma said they preferred treating minor marijuana violations as a non-criminal, fine-only offense. 57% support for decrim. And while Oklahoma and some of these other states may not be to the point yet where they have majorities supporting outright legalization, when you ask them who should be setting the drug policies, the feds or the states, people are coming back in droves saying this is a state matter, the feds should butt out, with 81% of Oklahoma residents agreeing that state lawmakers, not the federal government, ought to be the final arbiters to decide, quote, whether state laws regarding the use of marijuana are legal or not, end quote. It's happening all across the country, people, and I'm so glad you're here with us to ride this wave. And, you want to jump on the bandwagon of legalization, there is plenty of room. From coast to coast, from north to south, everyone in America wants to see a change in our marijuana laws. Most of them want to see medical. A lot of them want decrim. And even majorities now in some states want outright legalization. And it's 20 after here on Friday. I hope you're having a good day. Make sure you check out our website at 420radio.org. If you ever want to get in touch with me or anyone here at 420 Radio, use our contact page at 420radio.org/contact. We got to go meet the reefer man. Something about selling us North Carolina? I'll see you in a minute.
If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, home of the famous lighter leash. Herb Age Designs, get your Herb Age t-shirts and hoodies and show your pride. Herb Age Designs, we've got frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com. And follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. We'll see you at this year's Hemp Fest. Crank it up.
Almost busted in Laredo, but for reasons that I'd rather not disclose.
I smoke pot, and I like it a lot. Hi, this is Willie Nelson. I learned a long time ago that marijuana is a lot safer to use than alcohol. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the responsible use of marijuana by adults. It's time we stopped arresting and started respecting responsible marijuana smokers in America. And to learn what you can do to help, please contact NORML at www.norml.org or call toll-free at 888-67-NORMAL.
The show was long and we were just sitting there, and we'd come to play and not just for the ride.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Rockin' Friday, featuring rock, metal, and the hard edge of alternative country. You can get downloads and more information about all our Daily Toker Tunes by visiting music.radicalruss.com. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
All right, time for us to get Herb Thrasher on the line. He's made of metal, and he's got some great tunes for us today. How you doing, Herb?
Man, I'm doing great as a dude, and my fantasy football team is just going all to crap.
You tell me about it. I don't have a tight end to save my ass.
So that's about how I'm doing, and we'll definitely be talking about fantasy football and other stuff tonight on Herb Thrasher Flower Hour, and tell you about some up-and-coming things that Russ and I going to have going here pretty soon on 420radio.org as we take this to the next level.
Yeah, we got all sorts of great stuff coming up on 420 Radio. More involvement with Herb Thrasher, more talking about sports. We'll cover that at the Thrasher Hour tonight, 8 o'clock Pacific time, and we're really looking forward to rocking out tonight.
Yeah, tonight, one of our gems out there in the community, man, he's really just been a great activist, and he's also a great musician, and that is Justin James Bridges. And hopefully you guys are familiar with his work and what he's involved in, because many, many stories, and if you're not, just go to his website and get caught up. But he just released a brand new video yesterday, and called Long Road to Nowhere. And Justin being from Texas, man, has a real kind of bluesy sound, man. Really a lot of strong fretwork in his guitar playing, a real picker. And in fact, Justin is actually a member of the Houston Blues Society there. So he's well-traveled in the music and blues world. And as you guys know, that rock and roll really wouldn't be rock and roll without blues. I mean, you know, you got your Robert Johnsons going into ZZ Tops and Stevie Ray Vaughns. And so we definitely appreciate the blues and want to support Justin on this brand new video. And you can, he's got a couple albums out. This is actually a self-titled album, Long Road to Nowhere, which was released in February. And here more recently, within the last couple of months, he released a 4 or 5 song EP called Medication Recreation. So you guys go check out his Facebook page at Justin Bridges, or you can find cdbaby.com and you can find his actual music on there and purchase it. Or he has a JustinJamesBridges.com website. So you guys get out there and support Justin James Bridges, and we'll talk more tonight about the blues, and we'll have some more rock and some more weed. So you guys take care and see you tonight.
All right, this is Justin James Bridges with Long Road to Nowhere.
Long road to nowhere, and you know I'm headed down that line. It's a long, long road to nowhere, and it seems I'm running out of time. You can listen to me if you want to. You know I got some stories to tell. Believe it or not, this life that I'm living, it may not seem like much, but it suits me so well. It's a long, long road to nowhere, and you know I'm headed down that line. It's a long, long road to nowhere, and you know I'm running out of time. I said I got those stories to tell. Some people ask me where it is I think that I'm going. It doesn't matter, 'cause I've already made it through hell. It's a long, long road to nowhere, and you know I'm running down that line. It's a long, long road to nowhere, and it seems I'm running out of time.
Justin James Bridges with Long Road to Nowhere. Check it out at JustinJamesBridges.com. When we come back, we've got Karey Lee on the line from prison.
420radio.org presents a live original production of Thrasher Sports with Herb Thrasher and Radical Russ. Live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Time with replays Wednesday at 10 a.m., Thursdays at 3 a.m., Saturdays at 5 a.m. right here on 420radio.org.
The cannabis community includes a diverse set of activists and nonprofits working to end the prohibition of marijuana. We take the time to hear the stories of reform on the Russ Belville Show's Cannabis Community Chat.
Welcome back, everybody. Half past the hour, and a very special guest joining us today by telephone from Yazoo City, Mississippi. It's Karey Lee. Are you there, Karey? Can you hear me?
Russ, I'm here, buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm so glad to talk to you. I'd ask you how you're doing, but hell, it's prison, man. So
yeah, you know, man. I'm doing what I can. You know what I mean?
yeah. And do we also have Sarah on the line?
Yeah, that's right. I'm here.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. This is
hey.
Well, I got to give you guys a chance to say hi to each other, too, huh?
How are you doing?
It's not that often we get to do that.
Well, I'm glad that we got some smiles going here on the show. So I was reading through the biography of what had happened to you, Karey. It was pretty amazing. So I thought we'd talk about that first and then maybe talk to Sarah a bit about how the album got out and released and made the charts and everything.
Yeah, no problem.
So Karey, and I know you're calling from prison, so I'm not going to ask questions that might get you in trouble. I'll just let you talk.
Thank you. Hey, the warden here is awesome. So,
and by the way, since you are in Yazoo City, are you there with Mark Emery? Had you met Mark Emery?
Actually, Mark is next door.
Wow.
So we haven't got to meet yet, but we always are either a minute behind or ahead of each other. So
wow, it's how many good musicians do we have to put in Yazoo City? You guys have your own concert tour.
I know. Maybe they do that on purpose. They want us to have a really good band here or something.
Maybe that's it. It's like the ending of the Blues Brothers, right?
That's it.
All right, Karey Lee, you and I have a lot in common. My background before getting into this, I was a club musician. I was a professional musician playing for 15 years around the Pacific Northwest. So I have some idea of what your life must have been like as a gigging musician. Tell us about before prison and what led to prison.
Well, before prison, I was touring a lot. I was touring all over. I used to tour with Creed for a couple of years, actually, and, some big-name bands. I'm not a name dropper, but I was doing the Florida circuit up and down the coast for a good 8 years, just doing the grind, playing every single night. And you know how that goes, you don't really make a lot of money. You have a lot of fun, but you don't make a lot of money. And I started just, I met some people and just started kind of getting in that business type of deal with the marijuana situation, and it kind of just led into doing a little here, a little there, and then, next I'm in a conspiracy to distribute 7,000 pounds of marijuana or more.
Wow.
He gave me 10 years to life was the sentence. So.
Wow. So you're doing at least 10 years. Any prospects, and when did this sentence start for you?
About 6 years ago.
Okay, so you're 6 years into at least 10 years. Any prognosis on when you might be getting out?
Well, I think 2017 is the time I'm going to probably get out of here. There's a certain behavioral thing that I have to go through to get out, a drug program and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so that's going to involve, probably urine testing and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's almost like, in a sense, kind of a Breaking Bad story. I mean, you were a musician, it's tough making ends meet, and so you got involved with the marijuana trade.
Right, and a lot of it wasn't me selling it. I hooked some people up, and I got dragged in on the conspiracy. If you see my charge, it was conspiracy to distribute 1,000 or more kilos, and what that means is I knew about stuff that was going on, and I didn't report it, and at the end I didn't tell on anybody. So that brings me into the conspiracy charge of things, and that's where it got really messy for me,
So nothing about you being in prison has to do with them catching you with actual weed?
Oh, they caught me with nothing, not even one seed.
Wow. Just because you knew some people and talked to some people. And understand from reading the reports on this, it had to do with, an informant and someone wearing a wire and a bunch of stuff.
Sorry about that.
I was going to say it had to do with an informant and someone wearing a wire and a bunch of stuff like that, right?
Right, exactly.
Man, what a shame. And of course, you'd never been in trouble with the law before, had you?
No, sir.
Wow.
Sir, this is the first time, and I promise you, it's going to be the last.
I bet it will be. All right, so
they made a believer out of me, buddy.
Now you got this album, and as I understand it, you recorded it before you went to prison. Is that right?
Right. I was on bond for about a year, and during that year, I knew I was going to prison, and I was in county jail for a little while, and I wrote some of the songs while I was in county jail. When I got on bond is when I sat down with a pen and paper and, spilled my heart out before I left. And, we had to mix a few of the songs actually from inside prison, so I didn't even get to finish them all. But when we finally got done with it, we wanted to find the perfect exact time to release the album. And, the marijuana movement is at an all-time high right now, and the prison reform is going crazy. So I figured, me and Sarah got together and we're like, let's go ahead and release it now. Why not?
Yeah,
and it's been very, very successful.
Yeah, let's bring Sarah into this. Sarah, what's your relationship with Karey? How'd you get to meet him, and tell us about, getting the album out and promoted?
Okay, I met Karey in 6th grade, actually. We went to school together, we rode the bus together, and he was just always a fun guy to hang out with, and he was around town, he played a lot locally, and right before he got indicted, I had moved away to Atlanta. One day I was on Facebook, and I saw his Facebook page, it says people you might know, and I friended him. I realized, oh my God, he really did get in trouble when they put him away. I just couldn't imagine this person away in prison, because I'm not exaggerating, everybody loves him, and he's a good guy. If anybody needed a benefit concert, he was there to put it together, to do it. He owns businesses in the community, provided jobs for people. It was just shocking to me. I could not believe it, and so I wrote him a letter, and I said, I saw that you were in there. I'm really sorry. I just wanted you to know that, you have friends, and, I started writing him. We started writing back and forth, and we started talking about these tracks that he put down before he went in. And I was like, we should do something with this music. Why is it just sitting there being idle? And the more we talked about it, the more we just started putting together a plan. And the first step was really, I guess, putting together Fancy Face. And then the next step was getting the RIA certification to make it legit. And we just went from there. And it's been a pretty amazing ride, to be honest, because I'm just, I never did anything like that in my whole life, and it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, so we got a guy in prison and a complete amateur music promoter, engineer, whatever, and tell him the results. Tell him how this went on to Billboard.
The results have been killer. I mean, I have to say it's right up there, with one of my best accomplishments. Really just being his hands and getting it done. He pretty much taught me how to do everything through emails and letter writing, but we got on the Billboard Charts for the South Atlantic region. We planned it out perfectly. We did pre-sales. We hooked it up through CD Baby. CD Baby's awesome. They really help you with, you cannot call them too many times. I mean, they are just great.
That's good.
And then we did the release week, and the results were phenomenal. And, of course, we couldn't have done it. I mean, you have to understand, like I said, I can't lie about what a great guy is, because the reason why it went down is because of his fans and friends and family and all his supporters. They made that happen. They made sure that happened the way it did, because they believe in him. They know he's a good guy. He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. Well, nobody deserves it for this drug war. It's just insane, and that's why
that's
we're here.
Ridiculous.
We're fighting.
Yeah. I mean, there's been studies done that say after 18 months of people, first-time nonviolent offenders being incarcerated, that it becomes human torture, that the point of the punishment is null and void. It's redundant.
Yeah, good point. Now, we've got some ladies in our audience in our live chat room right now, so I'm going to do them the little favor of putting up this Karey Lee photo from, what was this, Red Heaven? Shirtless beefcake photo. So.
Oh, God.
There you are, Karey.
I haven't been around in a while. I heard that internet's real crazy. I'm scared of everything that's going on out there, guys.
So there you are, ladies. There's Karey Lee. Let's get him out of prison so he can start touring shirt or no shirt. So, Karey, let's talk.
He's kind of popular with the female.
Karey, let's talk about your plans here, because now you've got kind of hit album on your hands, and you recorded a video for it. We're going to show that here in just about 3 minutes. But how did you manage to do a video for this?
Well, believe it or not, that's actually my little brother.
Oh,
which
really?
is really cool. My little brother and a friend of his got together and wanted to do a tribute to me, and they they actually did that little video for me. They made that whole prop. They made all those props and everything themselves. To be honest with you, and this is kind of cool, I've never even seen the video, but I heard it's really, really cool.
Oh,
so,
excellent. I wish you had internet so you could see it while we're playing.
Yeah, that's my Karey. My Karey made that video, and that kind of went hand in hand and helped promote Release Week. It's all tied together on how we, hit the Billboard Charts, because without having a YouTube video and all that kind of stuff, it's not really taken seriously, and we need to pull that from somewhere, and they really pulled that off amazing.
Yes, I agree, and I can't wait to show it here. I want folks to check out your website as well. It's KareyLee.com, KareyLee.com. The whole story is there, all the press, all the information about how you ended up there. Let's talk about better times, though, the future, 2017, we hope, when you get out. Do you plan on returning to music, touring with this album?
Hey, Russ, I'm telling you what, man. You just be ready, because I've got so many good songs. My stuff that I'm doing now is superior than anything I've ever done before. I mean, I'm telling you, the music, the lyrics, everything that I have done, I've just learned so much. I've digged into my soul with this thing, and my new music's just going to be amazing. And I promise everybody, I got some big things coming for whenever I get out. Some of the biggest things that the music business has seen in a while. I promise you, the songs are just killer. I've actually never been more proud of anything that I've done. I mean, it's really going to be great. So I'm really excited about it, for real.
It's almost as if I was going to say, it's almost as if the prison situation, the bust, all of this is the pressure cooker that's turning.
I hate to admit that, and I'm going to say this, and I hate saying it, but this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I didn't need this much time, of course.
Yeah.
I think 3 years would have been fine. I was about done with all this after my third day at county jail, but it's changed my life. It's inspired me, and I tell you what, you're not going to ever meet a person like me when I get out, because I'm going to take this thing to I want to make the entire world proud of me. You know what I mean?
Well, we are proud of you, and we're proud of the results that you've had. And Sarah, thank you so much for helping him out. Everyone check out KareyLee.com, KareyLee.com. Get the album, support him on iTunes, CD Baby, or Amazon, any of those ways you can. Tell more people about him, because this is some great art that you've put together. We appreciate you so much for taking the time, and I know it must be a hassle trying to call from prison and everything. And if you
Russ, I want to thank you, first of all. Thank you very much for all your support, man. I love what you're doing out there, and please keep it up, man. It's people like you that really make people aware of what's going on around there, and we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you, Sarah.
Totally.
All right, thank you guys so much. And if you get a chance to see Mark Emery, say hi for us.
I will. I'll definitely do that, buddy. And listen, if you need anything from the future, whatever, you can always get a hold of me through Sarah. I want to thank everybody out there for supporting me. They've been amazing. And, the album just keeps doing so good. Unfortunately, with a digital CD, you can't really tell how many you've sold until about 3 months later. But we keep getting calls from people and different distributors and stuff just saying the album's doing phenomenal. So I'm really excited, and thank you for everything to everybody, and thank you, Sarah.
Here's the video. Enjoy.
See your face again, and am I just dreaming, or maybe just a fiending for someone to call a friend? I feel a million miles away from this life of mine. Punishments from things done wrong make you do sometimes. You do what you do, thinking what you do will pass somehow. Baby, look at me now. I've got these walls around me, so tell me how you found me. Thought I'd never see your face again. And am I just dreaming, or maybe just a fiending for someone to call a friend? Trust me, I am lonely, my privacy is phony. I'm just waiting to feel free. I haven't begun yet to see my first sunset. When I do, can you come with me? Can you come with me? So please don't forget my smiling face and all the good I've done for this crazy place. I'd be there for you no matter what you do, no matter who you know. Baby, what did you do? I've got these walls around me, so tell me how you found me. Thought I'd never see your face again. And am I just dreaming, or maybe just feeding with someone to call a friend? Trust me, I am lonely, my privacy is phony. I'm just waiting to feel free. I haven't begun yet to see my first sunset. When I do, can you come with me? And all the time, baby, to the ground, and you let me go. And now it's time for us to fly, baby, you should see. You should see. I've got these walls around me, so tell me how you found me. Thought I'd never see your face again. And am I just dreaming, or maybe just a feeling? Someone to call a friend. This beautiful disaster, not something I was after. Forgive and forget, they say. I was just forgiving, forgiving and forgetting every life that comes my way. I got this walls around me, so tell me how you found me. Thought I'd never see your face again. Am I just dreaming, or maybe just a feeling? These walls around me. I've got these walls, I've got these walls around me, around me. My first sunset, got these walls around me. These walls around me, come on now.
That's music from Karey Lee with Walls Around Me off the album A Million Miles Away. Check out more at KareyLee.com, KareyLee.com. Give him your support, man. This guy is a true artist. I can see him touring. I can see him making a lot of money once he gets out of prison. This is a real good art. And we're going to bring more of it to you in hour 2. I've downloaded his entire album. I'll play at least 3 more tracks for you in hour 2. If you really enjoyed that, stick around. We got more. Coming up next, a Radical Rant. We're going to debunk the gateway theory for Sergeant Chris Kanagi of the Portland Police Bureau.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisements because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Cast your eyes up to the skies. What is it to live and die?
Ever wonder how often to change your bong water? The most effective method for baking pot brownies? The best destinations for a ganja getaway? How to hide herb in your car? Whether to grow your own? How precisely to legalize it? Or how something as wonderful as marijuana ever got to be illegal in the first place? Finally, you can find all these answers and much more in the official High Times Pot Smoker's Handbook, featuring 420 things to do when you're stoned. Since 1974, High Times Magazine has covered marijuana in all its aspects and wonders, from cultivation to legalization to the herb's enduring and exalted place in popular culture. Packed with inside information, the official High Times Pot Smoker's Handbook rolls all of this collected wisdom together into a single indispensable ganja guide, including an entertaining look at marijuana's history, profiles of herb-friendly travel destinations and festivals, favorite potluck recipes from the High Times staff, smoking skills, advocacy and activism, essential marijuana movies and songs, profiles of famous cannabis strains, comprehensive growing information, celebrity endorsements, and much more. This is truly, finally, the ultimate guide to green living.
I'm Sub Cool from Team Green Avenger. At TGAgenetics.com, we are working on the leading edge of medical strains. Our strains are rigorously tested for THC, CBD, THCV, and other critical cannabinoids. Know your grow. Check out our genetic diversity at TGAgenetics.com, the home of Jelly Bean, Jack the Ripper, Vortex, and other award-winning cannabis strains.
Sir, do you think there will or should come a time for us to discuss the possibility of legalization, regulation, and control of all drugs, thereby doing away with the violent criminal market as well as a major source of funding for international terrorism? Thank you so much for your time, Mr. President.
Well, I think this is an entirely legitimate topic for debate.
Name the time and place, Mr. President. Radical Russ has been prepping for this debate full-time since 2005.
You want answers? I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore! You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!
And you have offended a Shaolin temple.
You can't handle the truth!
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
As you know, yesterday I was a presenter at the Better People Educational Forum that was held at the Multnomah County Public Defender's Office, and in that presentation I got to support the legalization of marijuana. Also appearing at the forum, speaking for the no side of the case, was Sergeant Chris Carnegie from the Portland Police Bureau. He is in charge of the Drug and Vice Task Force. In addition to claiming that alcohol prohibition didn't work because there were simply too many people who liked to drink, but, quote, we can stop them from getting marijuana, end quote, Sergeant Carnegie said regarding marijuana prohibition, quote, I think it's worth it, end quote. And since only 7.3% of the population uses cannabis, quote, why should we care, end quote. But what I want to spend time on today is helping Sergeant Carnegie understand that his most cherished reefer madness is utter bullshit. Sergeant Carnegie opened up his presentation by stating that the number one reason he was opposed to marijuana legalization was because cannabis is a gateway drug. He even went so far as to say that, quote, every single study has proven it is a gateway drug, end quote. He then went on to talk about all the heroin, cocaine, and meth addicts he ever had to work with, and, quote, 100% of them started with pot, end quote. As Sergeant Carnegie explained it, quote, when you first start using marijuana, you get a high, but after a while you develop a tolerance, and so you begin looking for other ways to get a stronger high, end quote. He also explained that, quote, using marijuana lowers your inhibitions for using other drugs, end quote. Now, it's easy to understand why a drug and vice cop might sincerely believe that marijuana leads to hard drugs. In the same way that an emergency room doctor might believe drinking inexorably leads to auto crash trauma. It's because of what's called selection bias. The fact that all the drug users a cop meets and all the drinkers an ER doc meets are there because of their victims' problems with drugs and alcohol. Sergeant Carnegie never interfaces with the vast majority of cannabis consumers who are neither hard drug users nor have gotten caught with any pot. What Sergeant Carnegie and the gateway drug believers are also suffering from is retroactively attributing causality where none exists. If you ask a heroin user, what's the first drug she tried, she'll probably say marijuana. Unless she's smart enough to recall that cigarettes and alcohol are drugs, since more heroin addicts will cite those as their first substances when properly asked. But that doesn't mean that marijuana led the woman to heroin. It just means that heroin users tend to have used marijuana. Here's a way to think of it, and it's a riff that I picked up from Maya Salovitz out at Time magazine when she wrote about this, and I so wish I'd had the opportunity to confront Sergeant Carnegie with it. Did you ever ride a tricycle as a kid? Sure. Many of us have. I rode a tricycle as a kid. Why did we do it? Well, 'cause it was fun. It takes us places faster than walking, and we liked the breeze in our hair, maybe the tassels on the handlebars and its pretty red color. Okay. Now, how many of you are members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club? Nobody? Well, that's strange, because when I asked a bunch of Hells Angels bikers what was the first vehicle they ever drove, 100% of them started with tricycles. As they explained it to me, when they first started riding tricycles, they had a lot of fun, but after a while they grew out of them, and so they began looking for other ways to ride for fun. They concluded that riding tricycles lowered their inhibitions to ride training wheel bikes, and then BMX bikes, and then motorbikes, and then finally big loud Harleys. Look, folks, the facts are these. 108 million people in America have tried marijuana. There are about 16.1 million monthly users of marijuana, and there are only 287,000 monthly users of heroin. Not only do most people who try marijuana never move on to heroin, the vast majority of them don't even continue smoking marijuana. And as for every single study, they actually debunk the gateway drug theory. As our Institutes of Medicine put it in 1999, quote, "There is no conclusive evidence that the drug effects of marijuana are causally linked to the subsequent abuse of other illicit drugs. In fact, most drug users begin with alcohol and nicotine before marijuana, usually before they are of legal age." End quote. In 2001, the American Journal of Public Health said, quote, "A careful analysis of all the data suggests that the gateway phenomenon characterized the drug use subculture of some baby boomers, but does not apply in the same manner to the generation that started using marijuana in the mid-1990s." End quote. In 2002, RAND's Public Safety and Justice Unit said, quote, "While the gateway theory has enjoyed popular acceptance, scientists have always had their doubts. Our study shows that these doubts are justified." End quote. In 2006, the American Journal of Psychiatry said, quote, "The likelihood that someone will transition to the use of illegal drugs is not determined by their preceding use of a particular drug, but instead by the user's individual tendencies and environmental circumstances." End quote. And in 2010, the Journal of Health and Social Behavior said, quote, "It really didn't matter if someone used marijuana or not as a teen," end quote, in predicting their use of hard drugs. Yet all these studies point out that access to marijuana and drugs and the pressures of the illicit market do tend to be predictors of drug use. It's not the cannabis that's the gateway, it's the prohibition of it. Nobody thinks that tequila and cigarettes are gateway drugs because there's no heroin and cocaine next to them on the store shelves. But when you have to break the law and visit an illicit market to consume cannabis, you're also presented with greater access to other drugs. And for some, once they've violated the law and become a druggie, there is a loss of inhibition, a crossing of a line that someone who is a legal drinker doesn't feel. For others, when they do get access to cannabis and discover that it's not the deadly dangerous devil's lettuce that will shrink their balls, enlarge their man boobs, lead to heroin, and turn their brain into a fried egg, they feel lied to, they feel bamboozled, and they may lose an inhibition of believing the mostly factual information about the hard drugs. Sergeant Carnegie seemed like a nice man, and off stage much less strident in his anti-marijuana tone. He genuinely seemed to not care as much for policing marijuana, consistently saying on stage, quote, "We concentrate on heroin, meth, and cocaine," end quote. Which I believe, because as Multnomah County sheriffs and the Portland Police Bureau, they do tend to give wide berth to cannabis when they can. So Sergeant Carnegie, please help us close what gateway there is between marijuana and hard drugs by separating those markets, like the Netherlands did 30 years ago. They enjoy half the marijuana and drug use rates that we do in the United States, and even lower rates compared to Oregon, and far lower rates compared to Portland. Well, folks, that's all the time we got here for the Russ Belville Show. I want to thank you for joining us and encourage you to check out our store at 420radio.org/shop. And the PowerPoint presentation that I did yesterday is now available online. You can download it. It's got a full script. It's got, I think, 14 or 15 slides, one interactive graph, 3 videos. It's great little 15-minute presentation for delivery at your meetings. And right now, it's on sale for $1.99. You can get it for just $1.99. If you'd like the free version of it, it's up online at my YouTube channel at Radical Russ. What I did yesterday, the filmed version I did yesterday, is available youtube.com/RadicalRuss. And if you want to look at that, so check that out. And that's, like I said, all the time we've got for today. But stay tuned for hour 2. We're going to play some more music from our good friend Karey Lee, who we just interviewed from prison. His album's got 13 tracks on it. You can check it out at iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby, or just go to KareyLee.com for more information. Also got a special surprise for Lively Libra in hour 2. Happy birthday, darling. Say happy birthday to Mr. Libra, too, and happy anniversary. Killing 3 birds with 1 stone. All right, folks, gotta go. We'll be back for hour 2 right around the break, so stay tuned. For everyone here at 420 Radio, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it,